Hey guys, Addict Cyclist here with another video, another review video of my 2019 Specialized Epic. This is a great bike. You know, this is one of the last model years. I believe it was 2020 before Specialized changed the head tube angle to become a little bit more slack for some of the tougher XC courses that the UCI has been producing. But to be honest, I kind of prefer a little bit more upright angle. It's a little bit twitchier, the handling is a little bit sharper, so for those who know what I'm talking about, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Not that the new Epic is bad by any means, it's a phenomenal machine, but if you're looking for a real twitchy, fast, cross-country bike, this is basically it. Just a couple of the modifications that I've done. I was able to find this bike used from an older gentleman that barely used it. This basically replaced my 2016 Specialized Stump Jumper Expert in Gallardo Orange with a full kit of upgrades. So I was going to walk you through a couple things that we did here. So we went with a pair of Reynolds mountain wheels. They're 24 mil width rim, super light, very durable. Reynolds has one of the best crash replacement damage warranties in the industry, so anything happens to this, whether I run over with my car, whether I crack it, issues with the free hub, they're going to get replaced. So I guess we'll start from the front here. So ended up going with a ground control tire, so it has a little bit more meat. It's kind of more like a cross country / trail tire for my local riding here down here in the Jersey Shore. I want something with a little bit more bite, a little bit more grip, and a little bit more shoulder knob, so I can lean the bike over and not have to think twice about it. So so we ended up taking off the fast track. So we do have the fast track in the year, but we'll get there in a minute. I did replace the alloy bars that came with this with a pair of 2020 S-Works bars. I ended up going with 760 width, so kind of give a little bit more of that trail feel with the very twitchy head tube angle. So it's kind of a nice combination. Can't really say anything else about that. Ended up going with a brand new S-Works seat post. Again, very compliant, so it does take some of the sting out of this bike when the rear brain is on the firmer setting. So very nice addition here. The alloy post was obviously pretty firm, and what else to do than to put a carbon seat post on. Ended up replacing it with a Phenom Expert saddle, so carbon rail saddle. Nothing fancy there. Did replace the cranks with a set of actually 2020 SRAM Exo 1 Axis cranks that I was able to score on Facebook for a pretty good deal, which kind of complements the Eagle GX gray, matte gray group set, and also kind of does complement the stealth gray frame here. And then the Axis chainring here also is kind of like an anodized stealth gray blue. So very nice chainring here to kind of match the theme of the bike. So of course you got your Specialized bottle cage with your SWAT tool here, which everybody rides a Specialized kind of knows about that. Kind of bring it back to the rear derailleur. We got a SRAM GX, which was the stock on this bike. Kept that, it's perfectly fine. I'm not a super weight weenie here, so again, as long as it does the job and it shifts, we're good. So I did replace the cage because there was some damage to it and the jockey wheels, but nothing else really to say about that. I did go with a Exo 1 cassette. When the GX ran out, it had some issues with basically it bending some of the cogs because the GX cassette is pinned, so I was able to again find this for a really good deal, brand new, off of Facebook. So again, fast track in the back. Ended up going with a 2.3 in the back. It usually stock with a 2.1 for this year. Tires are still in pretty good shape, but I like this iteration of the fast track. I know that they just came out with a new fast track, but this one seems to be seems pretty good. Shockingly, as bare bones as it is, it does bite pretty hard, and you can lean over and trust those knobs in relatively dry conditions. When it gets a little wet, just got to be a little bit more cautious. So, and I guess the last but not least, the brain. The brain is very interesting. I was always into more of like a trail bike, enduro bike, lots of squish, and just kind of progressed more towards XC type riding, stopped doing jumps, had a couple injuries, and a lot of my friends were getting on cross country bikes, and all it took was a couple pedal strokes of a cross country bike, and damn well that this is built for speed. and it's very playful. You know, it's 100 mil front and rear. It doesn't feel like 100 mil. Feels like it's got more volume than that. But you know, one of the things with the Brain is that it's fully adjustable. So you can set it up, you know, wide open. You can set it up where it's kind of medium, where it does have a little breakthrough point in the suspension when you do hit, you know, something in the trail that does open up the dampener. You know, so I tend to run the front, you know, probably more on the softer side. So I would say out of 24 clicks, believe it or not, this Brain has for the Brain adjustment, I'm at about, I don't know, maybe about a 10 to 12. So I'll say probably about halfway point. You know, depending upon the trail conditions or where we're riding, I might just fully open it. And if I'm looking to go after some comms here, I might just close it and take the beating. So, but I do really enjoy the rear Brain. You know, this is basically kind of call it a hardtail light. You know, so in the completely firm setting, you're basically getting a hardtail, you know, with a blow off. You know, no one really talks about it like that, but in fully firm, you are getting a hardtail bike. You know, it's a little much for me coming from a full suspension specialized stump jumper, but you'll notice here that on the Brain it does have 4 clicks. So right now you can see I have it right in the middle, which seems to be a very good sweet spot for me. You know, I do put it in firm, you know, if the trails are pretty smooth and pretty fast. Again, it's more or less a hardtail with a blow off. You don't really see any bobbing. It's pretty firm, and you can kind of hear the clunk and feel the clunk when the Brain does open up and close right again. So it's a real nice option to have. So you kind of have 2 bikes in one here. Again, you know, people talk about it, but they didn't really go into depth in terms of the overall, you know, options and feel that you can kind of tune here. So yeah, I mean, love this bike. You know, don't plan on replacing it anytime soon. I do like the color schemes of the 2020, specialized in especially in the S-Works, with that dark red fade into black. But this bike has been a phenomenal bike. It's fast, you know, and yeah, just still kind of getting to learn it a little bit. There's a lot of adjustability in the fork and in the rear shock. So kind of get a feel for where's the sweet spot. Kind of depends on the kind of day you're having, I guess, more or less. You know, you want to open it up, or do you want to kind of keep it firm and take a little bit of a beating and hit those comms. So one of the things that I did upgrade in the Reynolds wheels is that unfortunately these wheels come with a 4-pawl, which is actually an update to their 3-pawl design, but I ended up going with a 6-pawl. So I'll do a quick little free hub sound test here to end the video, and the engagement is phenomenal. I mean, it's almost kind of like a DT, was it a 52 tooth star ratchet, very similar engagement that I had on my stump jumper. So very pleased with the setup here. This whole setup, as you see it, costs less than $4,000. My price was less. I got the frame for $2,100, spent about $1,100 on the wheels, and the front tire and some brake pads, and the crankset. So I'm in it for about $4,000. But I can easily sell it for $4,000, if not more, given the current circumstances and bicycle shortage. And also, I guess didn't really touch on this, but I did leave the level brakes, level TL brakes. They're fine. They do the job, and nothing fancy. No infinite adjustments in the lever, just enough to get the job done. So yeah, just leave it at that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Please like and subscribe. I will be doing more review videos of my additional bikes, as well as some friend bikes. I have a Canyon Aero coming up. I have a Canyon Lux cross-country bike. I will have the opportunity to review my friend's Factor 1 Aero bike. And again, many more to come, so feel free to like and subscribe, and be well. Thank you.